How many of you voting for Hillary? You don't have to raise your hands. I do not blame you for wanting a female president. But that's a wicked woman.
The KKK endorses Hillary Clinton. We have given her $20,000 anonymously for her campaign fund. She is friends with the Klan. You know, a lot of people don't realize that. What all this stuff she's saying now, she's saying so she can get into office. Okay? She doesn't care about the illegal immigrants. She doesn't. She's acting like she does so she can get into office. And once she's into the office, then she'll implement her policies. She's Democrat. The Klan has always been a democratic organization. For the KKK, Hillary Clinton is our choice.
Today, our country has lost a true American original, my friend and mentor, Robert Seabird.
Margaret Sanger was a racist. She's responsible for the millions of babies that have been ethnically cleansed from our country and should not be celebrated.
I admire Margaret Sanger enormously. Her courage, her tenacity, her vision. Another of my great friends, Ellen Chesler, is here, who wrote a magnificent biography of Margaret Sanger called Woman of Valor.
Believe in sin? When I say believe, I don't mean believe in committing sin. Do you believe there is such a thing as sin?
Well, I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born. That, to me, is the greatest sin.
And you know, I know who Margaret Sanger is. And I know that she believed in eugenics and that she was not particularly enamored with black people. People should go back and read about Margaret Sanger, who founded this place, a woman who Hillary Clinton, by the way, says that she admires. Look and see what many people in Nazi Germany thought about her.
In her praise for the eugenics programs in Germany, Sanger called for the implementation of such programs in the United States, specifically targeting African Americans. The following editorial was published in the 1932 issue of the Birth Control Review.
The Negro problem is one of the most complicated and important confronting America. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is a man who can straighten out that idea.
I was a Goldwater girl.
I'm very proud that I was a Goldwater girl.
Goldwater was against the '64 Civil Rights Act.
Not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heal. 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 Bring them to
I'm running for president. Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion. I'm hitting the road to earn your vote, and I hope you'll join me on this journey.
Why do black people still like Hillary Clinton?
When I say Hillary, you say Clinton. Hillary Clinton!
I've been reading this book, The New Jim Crow, and it's got some gnarly stuff about Hillary Clinton. It says when her husband was president, she lobbied Congress to increase the drug war and mass incarceration.
And the best-selling author of the book, civil rights lawyer Michelle Alexander, says, Bill Clinton's tough-on-crime policies resulted in the largest increase in federal and state prison inmates of any president in American history. But Clinton was not satisfied with exploding prison populations. He and the New Democrats championed legislation banning drug felons from public housing and denying them basic public benefits, including food stamps for life. Discrimination in virtually every aspect of political, economic, and social life is now perfectly legal if you've been labeled a felon. What do you think about that, 1994 Hillary Clinton?
It's a very well thought out crime bill that is both smart and tough.
Awkward. Hey, black people, help me out. Would you say that you've been able to forgive her and her husband for tough on crime policies that led to mass incarceration?
I can't talk to New York.
Can't answer that right now because I want to cheer for Hillary.
Can I ask you any questions? You're good?
Can't talk to the press, sorry.
Why not?
Just don't want to answer the question.
But it is part of like history and reality, right?
Right.
I'm trying to find out why black people still like the Clintons. Oh man. Not even the South Carolina head of communications for Bernie Sanders' campaign will talk shit about Hillary. Why do black people still like the Clintons?
I couldn't.
I don't know. Hey, I don't know. You know, everybody got their own choice, you know. There's no telling what she's telling them or doing for them.
Finally, we're getting somewhere. Anybody else?
Give now, and lives will be saved. Thank you.
Thank you.
The standard for how much private gain collectively is allowed to be created by a charity is extremely tight. You can't operate a charity and, let's say, make 50 cents for the charity and 25 cents for you. You're not allowed to do that. It has to be, a charity is a charity if it provides public benefit, not private benefit. What the Clintons have done, they're stealing the people's physical gold in Haiti, as well as perhaps stealing or diverting massive sums that were sent towards Haiti and refusing to make an accounting for it. Disclosures needed to be made and now need to be made in the Clinton Foundation filings, and they have not been made.
12th of January 2016, 6 years after the earthquake, and for us it was important to be in front of the Clinton Foundation because Bill Clinton, as head of the interim Haiti Recovery Commission, was responsible for the $6 billion. He had unlimited control of this money. 6 years after the earthquake, Haiti is in worse condition than it was in 2010. Only Bill Clinton can tell the world what happened with this money.
Career criminal mastermind Hillary Clinton wants your vote. So let's take a look at what is fueling her presidential campaign. Because a small percentage of shallow, misinformed voters will cast their vote for Hillary based on plastic values determined by her sex, her shallow political experience, and her hollow promises rather than the criminal indulgences Hillary has left in her wake as a corporatized public servant for the hijacked U.S. federal government. 20% of Hillary's campaign is funded by none other than the royal family of Saudi Arabia. That's right. Hillary is funded by those responsible for 9/11, the country that bought its way onto the United Nations Human Rights Council, while simultaneously beheading its own citizens, bringing the 2016 death toll to 95 as of June 2, 2016. Saudi Arabia has a legal system based on Sharia law with a Sharia law mole compromising a potential U.S. president in the form of the Muslim Brotherhood-linked Huma Abedin via her parents and her brothers. True to form, faux feminist Hillary wants to deflect the fact that the greatest woman-hating country on planet Earth is funding 20% of her campaign. Mohammed is having said Saudi Arabia had provided with full enthusiasm an undisclosed amount of money to Hillary Clinton. It's simple. A vote for Hillary is a vote for the continued slaughter and subjugation of American citizens under the emerging acceptance of Sharia law over the values expressed in the United States Constitution. It's really that simple.
Come on, Hillary. Just a little sip. Open up. Come on, take it. Take it.
Once a month, Hillary would go out to Los Angeles. And she did it so regular that it became a bit of an issue trying to, why is she always going? Bill told me that she was going out there, she and a group of women, and she would be a part of a witches' church. And man, when Bill told me that, you could have hit me with a baseball bat. I tried to point out to him, you realize what had happened if that got out? Of course, my job was to make sure it didn't get out. But for the better part of many years, Hillary would go quite often, whether it was regularly once a month or maybe once every couple of months. She would go out on a weekend simply to be a part of it. I called Bill, and Bill said, "You bet, we've got a place for you." And he brought me on to this agency called the Arkansas Development Finance Authority. Now, as much as I had had involvement with state government, I had never heard of that agency. The problem with that was we already had an Arkansas Industrial Development Commission, and it was duplicating the work. What I found after about a couple of weeks of being there is it was strictly there for friends of Bill. We didn't loan money to churches. We didn't make low-interest bond loans to schools. We made low-interest bond loans to friends of Bill.
No, they didn't tell me anything about it. They didn't say anything to me about it. The airport in question, a matter for federal jurisdiction. The state really had next to nothing to do with it. We had nothing, zero, to do with it, and everybody who's ever looked into it knows that.
Your president of the United States, not only was a part of a system that was laundering millions of cocaine dollars, your president signed off on it. He can't deny that he did. You see, because of that, there's one little catch. Every loan that ADFA made, Bill Clinton himself had to sign off on it. What better way to run thousands of tens of millions of dollars, launder it, clean it up, and use the cover of a state agency to do it? They consider me such a threat. Remember, Bill said it, that, you know, some reporter asked him who was the worst enemy of the Clintons. He said Larry Nichols, in so many words and stuff. There's a reason he says that, because I'm holding the actual files.
From the outset, the investigation into the death of Vince Foster has been marred by controversy. The report, released June 30th, 1994, confirmed suicide as the cause of death. However, a careful examination of key pieces of evidence taken directly from the report itself indicate a number of alarming contradictions.
There's another story that you have, which is the Secret Service memo. Now, that's where the Park Police officially notified the White House Secret Service that they had found the body of Vincent Foster. That story, she can't run away from. And I know people say, well, good God, Larry, that's Vince Foster, that's old news. No, that's a death. Statute of limitations does not exist for that case. They moved his body. Then you have to ask why. Why did they move his body? Because where he died would have been under the D.C., Washington, D.C. police. And had that have been discovered, something would have come out. And she was in the Benghazi hearings when she said, "What difference does it make? They're dead."
What difference at this point does it make?
That's the Hillary I know. And that's the Hillary that we don't want to unleash on America.
Messages disappear all by themselves.
You see, when Hillary gets in office within 6 months, according to the plan we wrote back in 1986, literally there's a plan called the 86 plan, and it's where we finalized and put everything down. Within 6 months, she will make Bill ambassador to the UN. When Bill gets to be ambassador to the UN, it won't be 6 months then, because of the Clinton Foundation, what they've used the Clinton Foundation for. It won't be 6 months until he's made Secretary General of the UN. Now, can you imagine the power Bill and Hillary have? They will have achieved more power than any couple in the history of the world when they pull that stunt. That's what we're going to do, one way or the other. We will stop it.
And then, of course, we have Crooked Hillary. Crooked Hillary, folks. She's been crooked from the beginning, and to think that she has a shot at being our president, crooked Hillary Clinton. We can't let it happen. You can't let it happen.